everyone. Thank you for joining me tonight. Happy Thursday. I appreciate you guys coming in tonight. My name is Alyssa Thomas from Penguin and Fish, where we make cute embroidery kits for the beginning crafter. And I am here every weeknight at 8:30 p.m. Central Time. And it's a time that we can relax and craft together for about an hour. And I work on projects from beginning to end, so you can be part of the whole process along the way and work on the project with me and just come chit chat. So thanks again for joining me. We are going to continue on the Splendid Sampler 2 quilt along. Here is the book. We are working on the N Paws block. We are doing embroidery on it still. And we are going to focus on lazy daisy stitches and maybe even some French knots tonight. So we're going to get all these flowers done. So thanks again for joining me. I do have some more koalas. We are still working on that koala fundraiser. Feel free to still get that pattern. Each pattern sale goes to a donation to Australians for Animals, and that's still going on. So we have bundles still, we have just the pattern still, and you can still donate more if you like as well. We have that availability. So I will show you the new koalas just to see if yours is in this group that I got in the mail today, and then we will get stitching. So thanks again, guys, for joining me. I'm gonna flip you around here. Okay, so here we are. Okay, so thanks guys for joining me. Oh, Marion, I'm great. How are you? Hello, everyone. Hello, Sally. All right, and you guys got a peek at the koalas already. Let's take a look at those. So if you see yours, let me know. I'm going to scoot you guys down here. We'll get right about there tonight. Okay. So here's Bonnie's. So most people have signed theirs, which is awesome. Then we can. It's just like a nice record of your koala being in there. So I think we're up to 109 now. So 109 koalas. They're all so stinking cute. Oh, look how sweet that is. They are all just darling. So again, I'm just going through them quickly here so you can see if yours has popped up. They all definitely have their own personality for sure. And everyone's stitching is just a hair different, you know? So everyone has personality. All right, and that is the crew from today. So I think we got like 6 more today, or 5 more. So no, I think we got 6 in here. Yeah, 6 more today, and I'll be looking again tomorrow and Monday for more. I am hoping to take some photos of them this weekend as well. So all right, we are still working on the Splendid Sampler 2 here. I'm hoping to finish these flowers tonight or get really close. Marion, I will continue to accept whatever koalas come. So if you are still making one and sending it, we will come up with something. We haven't made the quilt yet, so but we will probably be starting that towards the end of February here. So if you want to still send me koalas, for sure, go ahead and do that. There's probably still time to get it within the quilt, but if you wait too long, I will still accept them, but they will just probably be in. We'll make something else to donate with them for sure. They will not be lost, that's for sure. Okay, so these are the colors that we were kind of thinking of. So if we look at the pattern here from the book, although it's on page 70 if you guys have the book, and I've just printed, this is my tracing one that I traced to the fabric here. But there are 2 different types of, 2 different colors of flower. We have a light purple and a dark purple, and they're scattered throughout. And I wanted to do I'm still sort of a little undecided. I was wanting to do these two colors to kind of have them a little pale and then just have a pop of this purple. Yeah, you know what? I think I'm still going to just go with that. I'm indecisive, but my instinct is still leading there, so I'm just going to go with that. So these will be my two flowers. Let's call this the light color and this the dark color. They're pretty close in value, but anywhere there's a light purple, let's do the red, and anywhere there's a dark purple, let's do this tan. I mean, it's not really red, this mauve, and this here they're calling it sanguine and pebble. Fun names. So all right, I'm gonna leave this kind of nearby so I can see it, and then we'll just start stitching here. Okay, here, I'll get it so you guys can see a little bit too. All right, so thanks again for joining me tonight. All right, let's start with, I want to start with this red. Let's do that. So actually, I think we had a little bit, there was a little piece on here. Yep, this is that same color. Oh gosh, this is hardly any though. I don't think I'm going to have enough with that, so I'm going to set that to the side. We're going to get a new piece. So the Lazy Daisy stitches, those are very similar to all these other stitches we've been doing, similar to the chain stitches. So those kind of take up a bit of floss. So yeah, I think I need a longer piece than what we had there. All right, so let's take a couple strands out of here. I'm going to do the two strands again. Oh, come on here, little strand. There we go. So one at a time. If you guys haven't seen this before, here's my little guy here. So I take out of the 6 strands. So this is 6-strand embroidery floss, and all the strands, there's 6 in them, but it's very kind of loose. And the reason for that is that it's meant to be able to be taken apart easily, so you can stitch with different number of threads, which give you a different thickness of line. So the easiest way is to just separate one from the group and then pull it out, letting the rest bunch up behind you. It looks crazy, but the moment the thread comes all the way out, it kind of releases itself. And I just kind of run my hand through that. I find that pretty helpful, just to make sure that everything's in line again. And then I'm just going to take one more. I want 2 for these strands, or for what I'm going to stitch with. So again, just pull it back, it releases, and I just run my hand through that again. So that's all I do for that, just to separate the strands. And I was actually going pretty slow. You can pull those strands out even faster. I don't go too fast because I don't want to, accidentally get some weird knot or something. But I've kind of exclusively been separating my threads like that lately, versus holding 2 strands and like pulling it apart that way. So I hope everyone is having a great Thursday. All right, I'm going to weave in the ends here, and we are going to start with this this flower right here. And I think once I weave in, I'll get close up for you guys again. So this again is a single chain stitch, or a lazy daisy stitch, but a lazy daisy stitch, what looks like a flower. It's actually constructed from several single chain stitches that go around the center. So we are going to do those chain stitches just exactly like how we did the leaves, and exactly how we did the rows of chain stitches here. So all right, let's get close so you guys can see. All right, so here is my first little flower. We see all of these little kind of petals, right? They're those teardrop shapes. So I want to start in the middle. I'm going to start at one of these teardrop shapes, and it's going to be just like how we did all of these other rows here. So I'm going to go in and out. So I'm going to go back in the same hole I just came out of and go out at the top, like the apex of that arc. And then I'm going to wrap that thread around just so I'm coming up on the inside of this loop of floss. And we are just going to pull that through. And we will be catching that loop just like that. And don't pull it too tight. Let it be lazy. If you do pull it too tight, I'll show you. It'll just start looking like a single line. It won't look like a nice petal anymore, like a big, like a teardroppy petal. So I'm just going to kind of loosen that up again. And we're going to just let it be loose. That's what gives it that kind of nice shape. And then again, we are going to put that anchor stitch over the other side. Leslie, the comments probably won't be on tonight, but I'm gonna, that's my goal for this weekend. So I'm gonna figure out, I know a lot of you guys watch on YouTube after we have the replays up on YouTube, and starting with our phone, the phone not working well in Facebook anymore, that's kind of what prompted us redoing this a little bit. We weren't getting comments with the phone for a little while, and we're still figuring it out for this new setup, but we'll be doing that probably on Saturday. So we may be popping in to the Penguin and Fish Crafters group a few times over Saturday, just testing out different tech stuff. So if you see us, if you're on Facebook and you happen to see us, me and John, in the crafters group doing a live video, make sure to comment, because we'll probably be testing comments and testing video and all that. But we do want to get comments on the screen here, and that might actually mean that you don't need to have them turned on in Facebook anymore, because they will just be on the screen for you. So we're going to figure all that out. But right now they won't be on unless you watch the replay on Facebook, unfortunately. But we're getting there. You like to review on YouTube after? Yeah, I know. It's definitely can be a lot easier to catch the replays on YouTube than on Facebook, so we want to get that right coming up too. Thanks, Joe. I'm liking how this block is turning out too. I'm always wary of these ones that look like real life things, like look like a bouquet of flowers and that sort of thing, but they're the ones that I always end up loving the best. All right, so we finished our first little lazy daisy stitch. So I just did those single chains around that center area. And later we will be putting a couple of French knots in there. But I like I think it's really pretty how it's overlapping this plaid right there. But yeah, just 5 single chain stitches going around that circle. That's all we're doing here. So I'm gonna probably, I don't know, weave in the ends and kind of jump to wherever our next flower is. I'm not quite sure where it is, so let's look at the pattern again. Next up, all right, so I'm doing the light colors. So this one's light. So this is jumping from here to there. That's a pretty big leap. So I think I'm going to probably weave in the ends of some of these stitches and weave into these to kind of travel to get up there. So instead of jumping from here to there, I suppose that wouldn't be that horrible. Yeah, I'm going to weave in the backs of these a little bit anyway. So I'm just going to I'm actually going to grab some of these stitches from our needle turn. There we go. Backs of some of these stitches. There. Now it's not such a big leap. I just kind of wove them into the ends of these. Otherwise, we would have been jumping from here to here, and that would have been a pretty big toe catcher. Like, we could have gotten a toe stuck in there, right? All right, so I'm going to just come up, and we are going to do those next chain stitches around the edge there. Oh, you're looking forward to next week's embroidery. Yes, so next week we will be embroidering the block of the month, which is the house plants. So that'll be really fun, I think. Oh, you want to get some special dishcloth fabric for it? Oh, that would be really sweet. Yeah, those little cacti would be really cute on a dishcloth. I'll be just stitching it onto onto white fabric, but maybe we'll do something fun. Like, if we get done early with it, maybe we'll do something fun, like wrapping the hoop in fabric. That always looks really pretty. Like, just a fun way to finish it up. Oh, I'm running out of floss. Am I gonna even be able to get these 5? See, this is what I'm saying. The lazy daisy stitch, I mean, it really uses up a lot of floss. So as I'm doing the anchor stitch, I'm coming up at the next, the pointy center part of the next stitch. So I'm kind of stopping and starting a stitch in one move. Again, the benefit of that sewing method. Oh gosh, I'm gonna run out of thread. I think I can eke these two out, but it's gonna be close at the end. I'm also stitching through, we're at that seam again, I'm stitching through all these layers of seams, so it's a bit tricky here. Yanking that needle through those seams. Yay, so next week we'll be doing a pile of embroidery too, which will be fun. And then on the week after that, we will be doing the Aurifil block of the month. So I'm only assuming that we will be cutting some fabric and we will be sewing. However, it's not released yet. That block gets released on the 15th. And then we'll get to see what's involved for block 2 of the Aurifil block of the month. All right, I'm tacking that piece down, and then we are definitely out of thread. So I am going to stitch in the backs of these stitches that are hanging out here. All right, 1, 2, 3 times. 3 locks it in place. We like locking those in place. So I'm not doing any knots on the back. I'm just weaving in everything. Okay, and snip away that excess. Great. All right, let's see where we have to go next. Okay, we got 2 up here. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there's 4 of the dark ones and 5 more of the light ones. I think that's kind of why I wanted to lean towards this mauve-y color being the main flower color, because I think it'll help bring in this red, because it's kind of almost from the same family, these 2 colors. We just have a darker version and a lighter. Actually, you can kind of almost see some of this color show up as the variegated thread from the red gets a little lighter here. So I think doing this one that has the most flowers in will kind of hold it together a little bit. Ooh, I don't need more of that. I have it already here. We just need more strands. So let's get that two strands again. You got to do them still one at a time. Otherwise you will get a crazy knot. All right, and lastly, zoop. Gotta add the sound effect. Zoop. All right, putting them together again. Grabbing the needle. Oh gosh, I can never pick up the needle from the table. I always have to slide it off the table. There we go. Okay, up here, so these 2. So I'm going to weave into the backs of these stitches, and then we will get those 2 fellers. any stitches up here to weave into, but it'll be enough. When do you wash the blue outline out? So Patricia is asking when we wash the blue outline. So you can actually do that right away when you're done embroidering here. And you can just kind of, I know some people just get a spray bottle and spritz it, but I kind of like dipping the whole thing into water. And then you can just press it. Like how I normally like to press is having a really fluffy towel. And then I put the back like facing up, and then I press the back of it, but all the stitches will stay poofy because they're gonna sink into that puffy towel like a bath towel. So that's how I like pressing, and I press all the water out of it right after. So you can do it right after you're done here. I'm just kind of being lazy with it. I'm gonna wait till I throw it in the washing machine, really. I think that's what I'm going to do. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll do it. You know what? Nope, I'm not going to. I'm thinking about it. We're doing these, I'm quilting these as I go. And I don't think I've taken any of the blue ink out yet. So I'm going to actually probably just wait and throw it in my washing machine when the whole entire thing's done. And then that will wash away the blue. So I'm being mega lazy on it. But you can just, like I said, dip it in water. Other thing you can do is just take a wet rag and kind of dab it on. But I think that's maybe a little bit slower than dipping the whole thing in water. But you can be super lazy like me too and just wait to wash it when the whole thing's done. But I know that's kind of a bummer because you can't see it. You can't see the like true finished thing yet, so it'd probably be more fun to do it sooner. But yeah, definitely wait at least till you're done stitching. Oop, get that back on there. I like this pale pink. I think it's just... This has been a fun project for me in the sense of... this color palette, this whole light color palette is very different than my usual. I've been kind of leaning towards like brighter colors and more contrast and stuff. So I really wanted to try like a low contrast, white background with light tans. All right, I'm gonna start this one down here. Just like really light tans and light yellows, and see if I can do a quilt that way, because I think they're really beautiful. Those kind of white background quilts. And I've never done one, so that was one of the challenges for me with this block. Oh, Betty says that you read you have to wet it with clear water before you wash it with detergent. Oh, that's interesting. So, I don't know. I think I've always just kind of threw it in the wash, but I'm sure there's better ways to do that. So, yeah, it wouldn't hurt to just rinse it off before throwing it in the wash or before quilting it. I think if you are going to take it off beforehand, this would probably be the time while it's still in block form. Then it can dry before you try and put it in the rest of the quilt. I'll do the last two of these close in case you guys want to see a little bit more in detail. So there we are so far. I'm doing the anchor stitch for this one, and coming up on the next one, the next one right away. Okay, and then I'm just rotating to get comfortable, and then I'm going to, I've kind of made the thread go in the same shape as my loop here, and I'm going to go back in and then out at that apex. You can even tighten this around there. Pull through. There we go. And not pulling too tight. And then I'm going to do that anchor stitch just right on the other side of that stitch. I'm going to come up at the next stitch and do the last one. So this one I didn't make that loop shape, so now I'm going to have to grab my thread and wrap it around. All right. And there we are. Oop. My thread got a little loose there, like one thread is a little tighter than the other, so I'm just going to try and isolate the threads. There we go. So that one got a little silly. So all right, let's do that anchor stitch again right on the other side. And again, I think this is enough. I'm going to have to get a whole another piece of thread there again. Oh, they're looking pretty though. That's such a good color. All right. So I don't have enough for a whole nother lazy daisy stitch, so let's just weave that in again. Oop, yeah, this is gonna come off my needle again. All right, there we are. Oh, Gretchen says that it was fun knowing that her theme was red, white, and blue. It made it easier. I do have to agree with you. Having a plan, having rules. It's not even having a plan. It's having rules. Setting rules for a project, I find that so helpful as well. Like my rule was that I had to use a white background whenever I could. That was rule number 1. So most of my blocks, when there's an apparent background, it will always be white. And I need to use like these pale yellow colors, pale tan colors. This is actually a little out there that I chose this red for this particular quilt. But I think it's fine. Oh, and you know what? I did actually give myself some leeway. So every 5 blocks, I'm allowed to put a different color in, like a bright color. So it'll be a mostly pale quilt with a few bright colors like this popping up every once in a while. Okay, what do we got going on here? Oh, dang, I'm going to have to get a whole new thing of thread. Oh, remember I had that little shorty piece at the beginning? Maybe that's enough for 1. Maybe I can get this 1 here, and then my last one can be for these other 2. Let's give that a go. Ooh, this is going to be cutting it close with this, but I think I might just be able to get one of these out of there. That'd be nice. Then I'm using up floss that was left over from a different project. Oh, so Gretchen says, yes, the rules and colorway was chosen before was such a stress relief. Yeah, I mean, it really is. You know, you want to be like free and open to do what you want and all that, but like really the relief with like some set parameters. I mean, you're setting them yourself, so you can break them. Like I said, I'm okay with this little pop of color, and I've put a couple other pops of color in to the quilt, but in general, it's been just stress relieving to have that little parameter. This one I might have to wrap it around the top a lot like that, just because I think I don't have that much thread, so it's going to be tough to like get that loop shape before stitching. Like I typically like, I like holding it down with my thumb and then making that loop, like pre-making the loop. It's just not tightened really until I get the needle through there. But again, with this short piece, that's going to be a bit difficult. So this is fun. I'm going over the stem that's there. So that's where you can really get some texture in, is if you're doing like these different layers. So here, like that stitch went over the stem. So let's do that again. Ooh, I'm getting a little close here. There we go, down and up. Same stitch. I'm going to get this, making sure it's in the back. All right, but look how cute that is, just kind of sitting over the top of the stem there. All right, back here. Oh, and I thought that happened. That felt like that might have happened. Oh, you guys. I just noticed that I'm using 3 strands here. So that that little spare piece had 3 strands in, not 2, and I didn't notice. So oh well. This is going to be just a little fatter, but you can kind of see actually. Once I finish this, let's take a look at it, because you can see a difference between the 3 strands and the 2 strands for sure. I mean, it's just a tiny detail, so I mean, it's not, I don't care that there's 3 in this one, but it is different. So you can add some more contrast and some more texture by using different amounts of strands. But I'm glad we got to use up this scrap piece of floss. There we go. Oh, Barbara, that is so awesome to hear. So Barbara says this was one of the blocks that she didn't really care about, but now she can't wait to do it. Yay! That has happened several times within this quilt, and you know what? I feel exactly the same way, Barbara, with a lot of these blocks too. I'm just like, oh, I don't know if that's resonating with me or whatever. And again, that happens to me a lot when it's like pictorial, like when it's a bouquet like this. But I'm telling you, those end up totally being my favorites. It's just so funny. The ones that I think will be my least favorite end up being my total most favorite. All right, so here's a 3-strand one. Gosh, even from far away, it does look a little bit bolder, doesn't it? It just looks a little fatter than these other ones. So just to really see it, here's the 3. Let me just try and fold it over. So this one's 2 strands and this one's 3 strands. Let me see if I can get it kind of flatter. So it's subtle. It's subtle, but it is just a hair fatter. Let's just try and get a little closer here. So, oh, there we go. So just a hair fatter. And it really, like I said, from far away, you really can kind of tell that it's just a bit heavier. All right, back to the 2 strands. This is my last little piece of 2 strand, and we have this guy and this guy to do. All right, and I think we are probably not going to get this done tonight. We are going to, we're going to end up working on this tomorrow, which is totally fine. I just wasn't sure yesterday, like, are we going to finish this or not? I don't know. I thought we might get pretty close today, but we have all the flowers of the other color, and we're going to, I mean, it's only 9. We have time yet, but I'm just thinking that's a lot of French knots to do tonight yet. So I think tonight we'll focus on finishing these lazy daisies, and tomorrow we will dig into these French knots. And then maybe we'll do something else tomorrow too, because I don't think that'll take the whole entire time. Hopefully. There are a lot of French knots though. Okay, which ones are we doing? This one and these 2. Okay. The applique has been the thing. So Barbara says that she's not great with applique, but she's going to give it a go because she loves the way it looks. That, I would say that I am the least confident in applique as far as a technique as well. So that's something, whenever I'm doing it, it's always, I feel like I'm a bit more in concentration mode, a bit quieter, a bit like full brain working to do those. And that's also what I'm kind of YouTubing more and whatever. If I get stuck, is like, how do I get perfect points in needle turn or something? You know what I mean? So I definitely feel like that's that's a whole genre I need to dig into a bit more. I'm having a really kind of fun time doing these lazy daisy stitches. I think this one I'm going to make go over this stem. It's pretty close to, it's just kind of touching it, and so I'm going to go right over the top. I think that's pretty. All right. Last petal here. I think this one I'm going to make go over too. They're just pretty when they overlap the stems. Okay, and yep, it was this far one here. So I'm just making that anchor stitch and then just coming up all the way over here at the next bit. Yeah. So again, stay tuned on Saturday or Sunday. It depends on how the weekend kind of plays out. But I'm probably going to hang out in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group and testing a whole pile of video stuff. And I'll probably be deleting them right away. So if you are there, you will get to see behind the scenes of us putzing around. And I'd love if you comment. Like, I would love if you, say how it looks, or, we'll be testing comments. If you comment, we're testing it, how it comes up on the screen. Any comment we'll be able to see, and that will help us. And, any encouragement to try and move this ahead. So, keep a lookout. But yeah, we'll be there, and then we'll delete them right away. All right, last stitch for this color. We'll see how it goes. Maybe I'll do a little giveaway or something too. Giveaway for anyone who was able to sneak in and be there at the right place, right time. All right, last anchor stitch. And we're done with that color. Let's weave in the ends. And we will switch to that kind of gray, they call it Pebble. That's what, it's Weeks Dye Works is the brand of this, and they just have the most fun names of their floss. And this one happens to be Pebble. And they're so descriptive, like grape ice. That's what this one is. And it just looks like a grape slushy for sure. And Pebble, this is the one that we're going to use now. It's looking really cute though. Oh, Bonnie, you started cutting your background for the granny square. Oh, that's awesome. I know a lot of people are already sewing that, but man, I am still cutting on that project. So next month we will still be cutting, but I'm hoping to actually get to the sewing stage. That'd be awesome. I'm gonna get one more swoop out of here. All right, so there are just 4 of these fellers. This is the darker color. Mine isn't really darker per se. It's just a different color altogether. All right, 2 strands here. Zoop. All right. Let's get this guy in here. He wants to hang out with us. I think we named him Ted. Ted because he has thread in him. So Ted, you can hang out right here. And Zeb can come in here too. Ted and Zeb hanging out on the side. Okay. Oop, pinched that. There we go. Alright, so I'm just going to start at this bottom one. So same deal here. We're just doing a different color now. Always fun to change colors. It's starting to look really busy on the back here, isn't it? Alright. It doesn't really matter which petal you start off with in a lazy daisy stitch. So just pick one and go to town. There we go. This one's going to be fun too because I'll be going over the stem again. I just think that looks fun. And I'm rotating my piece as I work just to make it more comfortable for my hands, but really you could keep the piece the background fabric where it is and just move your hands too. You could just keep it all in one spot. And if you were kind of embroidering on a huge quilt, you probably wouldn't be able to rotate it all over the place. So it's probably not a bad idea to get a little comfortable with stitching in different directions. And wow, I am not comfortable with that at all. It feels super awkward, but doable. Like right now, I'm just trying to keep the fabric in one spot and move my stitching. I prefer to move the fabric. I think keeping most comfortable for your hands and stuff. I mean, you're doing tons of stitches. Keeping it more ergonomic and comfortable for you, I think, is most important. All right, there's just a really subtle difference between these two. So I'll just show you quick so you can see. So one is that kind of mauve-y color, and one is that tan, or not even tan, like that pebble color that's just a little maybe duller than this pink. So it'll be pretty subtle, but I think that's kind of nice. So I'm going to weave in the ends of this just because there's no, like the next one is way up here. So I'm going to weave in the ends, and then I'll go up here and weave in the ends. I'm hoping I can get a second one out of this piece of thread that I got here, but again, it's going to be pretty close. We're going to do it though. Okay, let's clip. All right, next up is this guy up top, and then these ones I'm going to try and get with one thread as well. Yeah, I really think this is a beautiful block too, Patricia. It's just turning out really fun. Like I said, it's these blocks that I'm kind of unsure about when I start, that by the time I'm done, they are totally my favorite. And I wonder if it's because I spend so much time with them, or I don't know, all the little pieces grow on you a little bit. I don't know what it is, but I am really liking this one. And I wasn't sure about it when I first saw it. I think I was pretty intimidated, actually, is what it was when I first saw it, because there was all that needle turn applique, all of these paws, all these leaves, that needle turn applique. Like I said, the applique is still where I feel like I'm learning the most, and it's kind of a lot. But now that we have all of these other bits in here, look how it kind of blends into this applique. So the applique feels like part of it. Like it all feels like it goes together, I think, now that we're adding all this stuff to the background, which is just really fun. I'm excited about it. There's so many different textures and layers into this. You might actually not even notice at first glance that there is applique in here. It just looks like pretty texture. And then you're like, oh, it's embroidery and it's applique. And it's piecing. Like we have this pieced border in here too. There's so many different techniques in here. It's fun. Uh-oh. Oh, like where did that thread come from? A little clipping. My threads are separating a little here again, so I'm just going to try and pull the looser one there. Okay, I have one last stitch. Ugh, and I'm losing my thread. There's not much left. All right. We'll flip to the back, and we will tuck in those, we'll weave in those ends again. Lazy daisies don't really have much to grab on in the back, so I am just trying to grab as much as I can to kind of lock these threads. Pat, I think that is totally the beauty of these Splendid Samplers. It kind of like throws you into these other things, these other techniques that you wouldn't normally do, or you wouldn't normally, practice as much as what is necessary for the Splendid Sampler. Uh-oh. Oh, it doesn't want to pull out. Let's see what's going on. Oh, I think I felt something got just caught. There we go. All right. Those two. Oh, there you go. Give it a go. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. That's right, Noeline. Okay. Grab this needle again. Where are we at? All right, so just these two. And then all the lazy daisies are done. So I think I'm going to just weave in the ends again here, and then I'll just jump over here and do those ones. Definitely getting bulky over here. I think that's fine. Okay. Whoa, caught on my scissors over there. All right. So now in this case, just if you're doing your kind of mapping where you're going to go beforehand, I want to jump from here. I want to do this flower and then jump to here. But I want it to do it in like the smallest jump possible. So if I finish an anchor stitch on this petal or this petal, I'll have the shortest jump over here. So I think I'm going to try and end on this petal. So I'll start at this one down here. Then I'll go, actually, it's easier for me to go counterclockwise, it seems. So I'm going to start at this one. Oh, caught on the edge here. I'm going to start on this top one, and then I'll go around and end on that one. Oh, you only have about 15 to go? Oh, I'm super jealous of you, Pat. I got way more. I think, like I said, I think I looked this one up. I think this is my 48th one. My thread got a little separated here. So I'm not even halfway. My mom's is long done. I'm super jealous. Oh, it'll be fun working on this this year. I do still like how we're splitting up our weeks a little bit in projects. It's kind of nice to take a breather from one and work on something different. That's been fun. All right, 2 more and then I jump to there. All right, there. Now I'm going to end on this one that'll be like the shortest leap over to this next flower. Actually, I think it's longer than my needle, so I'm going to make that anchor stitch. And then I'm going to come up at the next one. There we go. Last flower. Yay. Well, we still have to do all the little inside. So it looks like every single flower gets 3 little French knots in the middle. So we will give each of these 3 flowers French knots. And it looks like I kind of drew on the French knots, but I'm not gonna worry about where I drew little dots on here because I kind of can't even really see them very well. I'm going to just put 3 in the middle there and call it a day. It'll be pretty cute. 3 little French knots in each flower. And I'm going to use that purple color, that purple, what was it called again? Grape ice. I'm going to use grape ice as the middle centers of all of these, and I think that'll be a teeny tiny pop of color, but just barely. I think it'll be even too subtle to appear as a pop, but I think it'll just put a little bit more emphasis on these little baby flowers, and I kind of like that idea. All right, last petal, and we'll put that anchor stitch in and weave in our ends. All right, it's looking pretty cute. Yeah, and I think we will call it a night with this. So let me flip it around and just hold on a second. All right. So let's, oops, sorry fellers. Let's just take a look without the book in the way there. Yeah, and it's staying pretty flat. I mean, I did put tons of stitches everywhere without a hoop, and all in all, it is staying relatively flat yet. So what we need is this purple still, and this purple will be the little French knots in each of these. So I can even see from far away here that that's going to add just a hair darker contrast. I think that'll be nice, and it's kind of the same value, the same value as this, so it's a little darker, kind of like how the bow is. So I think these couple little dots will help bring, like, kind of reflect the darkness of the bow and kind of pull the whole thing together here. So there we are for tonight, you guys. Okay. There we go. So hello again. So thank you guys again for joining me here tonight. There is our cute little piece again. And yeah, I'll take a photo of this and we'll post it in the Penguin and Fish Crafters group. And this will go up on YouTube. It won't have the comments yet, but we are working on that. We might even start trying to stream at both places. So if you do like watching on YouTube better, there might be a whole new live option for us there. So stay tuned for that. Again, we'll be figuring out, I'm trying to figure out at least one new thing about this every day so we can get further and further along. So awesome, you guys. Thank you guys again for joining me here tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Good night.